Hi there, guys. We got a little bit of a project today that we're going to work on. It's raining kind of crappy outside, so decided I was going to make my wife a blanket ladder. My cousin had one at his house. She thought it was kind of cool, so I was like, well, you know what? It's raining. I'm not doing anything too crazy outside. Let's give it a shot. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I picked up a couple pieces of lumber here from the lumber store, and we're gonna give it a shot. Figured, what's the worst that can happen? So the first things that I want to try is we're gonna take in. So these first boards here are 6 foot long, and I think that's about how tall I want this blanket ladder to be. So the first thing I want to do is, I think this is an 8 foot, this is going to make my rungs going across the ladder. I think my best plan is I want to have about 5 rungs, maybe 4, and so they should be about 2 foot, and that should give me a nice split. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some measuring here and kind of see where everything lands. Perfect. 6 foot. I'm kind of looking here, thinking if I put roughly 1 inch. Then I think I'll do a line at 17 inches. And then I'm just gonna kind of eyeball, see how things look, and come up with a plan. So here you can see I'm just kind of laying stuff out, kind of trying to get a idea of how this lumber is shaped. You can see here how it's gapped on this side and close together on this side. So what that tells me is there's a bit of a curve. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go this way. See, I still got some gappage there, but so I'm gonna go tags up. And I'm gonna have it so this gap is in the middle, because then what I'll end up doing is my rungs, as I clamp them, it should keep the legs looking a little straighter. But the first thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna grab a piece of not this rung material, but something similar, so I can just kind of lay it out and see about how spread apart I want. All right, we got our chop saw set up, and so now in this case, so here's where my line is. Get everybody in frame here. Here's where my line is. So what I want to do is, with the blade, I want to cut on this side of the line, and that's going to give me my accurate 20-inch rung. Perfect. So here's a perfect example. You can see that right there is the thickness of the blade. So as you can see, all of my lines are gonna have to shift over that little bit. So again, I wasn't gonna use this line as my cut mark. I was just using it as a placeholder so I would kind of be able to visualize how everything was gonna look. I'm a big visual person. And always use the same template piece, because if you don't, your pieces have a tendency to all be off. I don't know, maybe the professional guys don't have that problem, but boy, I sure do. All right, we've got our rung pieces cut here. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of lay them out again. I'm gonna keep this one just in case I end up needing it for, whoops, my extra rung. Whoops. Ah! I think that's gonna work out to look pretty decent. I think it'll be perfect. We'll be able to have all sorts of our blankets kind of draped over this. And I don't know, I think my wife will like it. All right, so this is the very first time I've ever done anything with dowel joinery. So this is a learning experience for me, and I'm just gonna try it and see what happens. I'm sure it'll be a good thing to know how to do. But the first thing I want to do is I want to set this depth gauge on my drill bit here so I don't drill too deep. Once I get that figured out, then I can go ahead and lock that into place. I want to go just a little bit more than halfway. And what that'll let me do is I'll be able to put one here, transfer that over to my other boards, the uprights on the ladder, and then I'll be able to put this dowel in, and I'll put some wood glue and tap everything together and let it dry that way. But I think that's going to make it look real clean. There won't be any screw holes on the ends. So we're gonna wing it, give it a shot. First thing I want to do though is this is the end cut. These two are my practice ones. I'm gonna just try it and see. I kept the instructions here, so I'm gonna save those. I'll refer back to them many times, I'm sure. But I just want to try this a few times and make sure that I'm doing this right. So here you go. This is a pretty precise measuring device here. I don't know if you can quite see because it is really small, but this is 48/64 of an inch thick. So we're going to go half of 48, which would be 24. So we're going to make a mark at 24. And 24. Now for our width, we're going to slide our rule so it's right at the 1 line there. We're at 2 and 24. So for that, we're gonna go $24. And 2. And that this point here and this point here should be our cross. So now I'm going to take my drill. I'm going to drill right down in, making sure we're nice and even. Now we'll take and put these 2 pieces in, and what that does is it's going to let us transfer where our holes are going to go. Now I should be able to take these 2 dowels, put them in, take our 2 little markers out, those should slide together just like so. I'm a little nervous if it if it worked that smooth on my practice one. I don't know. I feel like I'm bound to miss something. But let's give it a shot. I'm going to use my speed square here to make sure all of my pieces are nice and square. Tighten that guy down. Now I just want to check how off I am on all these. I'm gonna go square this up, and then we'll go ahead and draw our lines, and we'll drill all of our holes. And I'm gonna drill all the holes at one time, so that way I'm as close to exact. That doesn't look too bad. Just checking to make sure I got enough meat on these little boards to support my dowels. I think I'm gonna widen them out just a hair. There we go. We've got our 10 holes drilled for our 10 rungs. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now for the tricky part. Now we gotta try and transfer these lines over to our 6-foot rungs here and try to make everything look as good as possible. So to do that, we're gonna take our clamps off. We're gonna take and insert our centering scribe, I guess you could maybe call that. I'm not really sure what you'd call it. Center. I'd call it like a transfer punch if we were back in the mechanical job. I'm actually going to take, and while I have these together like this, I'm going to go ahead and write R on the side of them. That way they all face the same way, because I could totally see this kicking my butt later. And I'm going to go ahead and write R and L on my rungs. So this is my orientation, how they're going to be. So for the inside, I'm going to go ahead and flip them 90 degrees. Because now I'm going to draw my lines for my rungs where, and I'm going to draw this so the top of I'm going to make my lines on the uprights here in such a way that the top of the rung will be on the line. So that way I stay consistent the whole way down my ladder. Okay, so as we did on the other side, I'm going to go 1, 1, 17, 17, 33, 49, and 65. So we've got our height lines. We're going to go ahead and do our center lines all the way down here. My wife has wanted a blanket ladder, for a long time, and I've always told her, I'll make you one, I'll make you one, I'll make you one. And, you know, I tell you what, guys, I am the first one to admit that I get busy, I get distracted, and things tend to get away from me. And this was a perfect point in case of a project that, you know, it doesn't take very long, doesn't take a lot of effort, and it has sure gotten away from me. But we are going ahead and we are getting her now. We're going to press that down. And now we've got our first hole lined up for where our very first rung is going to be. And now, you know, if you were perfect and you did everything exactly right, you probably could just go through and tack all these down and you'd be dead on. But since I rarely, if ever, do anything perfect, I'm going to go through and go ahead and put each individual one together and then keep going up. Picking this back up, we're going to drill all of our biscuit holes or dowel holes.
You know, thinking about it, I probably could have maybe tried the first one with some cheaper materials and went ahead and, you know, had maybe a practice one. But where's the fun in that? I'm gonna go ahead and go for broke, bet on success, and we went with the premium lumber. And we're gonna go for it right the first time. You know, thinking about it, I probably could have maybe tried the first one with some cheaper materials and went ahead and, you know, had maybe a practice one. But where's the fun in that? I'm gonna go ahead and go for broke, bet on success, and we went with the premium lumber. And we're gonna go for the.
Next, I'm going to take a chisel, just run it down and flatten all of our where we drilled these dowel holes. If I was really fancy and a better carpenter, I'd take a countersink and shave the tops of all these, but after all, I'm just a mechanic. And kind of making this up as I go along. Ooh, don't gouge that out too deep. Now while I got these out, I'm just kind of sanding off my pencil marks and any other little nicks that came up when we were doing it this far. This is a really, really fine sandpaper. I don't want to take too much material off. want to clean it up a little bit. Now I think we're ready to throw some dowels in place. Kind of back to that whole measure twice, cut once. In my experience, it's always been cut that thing twice and it's still too short. There we go. Use this piece.
Make sure everything's seated.
I think that's gonna turn out pretty nice. A little shaky, but I think once we get all of our glue in there and well, we got everything dry fit, everything's sanded down for the most part. So now I'm actually gonna go through and take all my dowels out because I got to put a drop of glue in each dowel hole, and we'll go ahead and put everything together and clamp it down and let it dry overnight. Come back maybe tomorrow and do a final sanding, make sure everything's good and clean, and I think we'll hit it with some stain and call this project done. I'm gonna let Laura pick out kind of what color stain. You know, she's got a way better eye at the whole interior design than I do. You know, I barely got good enough eyes to put the stuff together, much less figure out what color to have everything and what color matches what. And yeah, I'm still working with the Crayola 8 count, so those are the colors I know. If you learned anything from this project, or it made you smile or made you laugh, go ahead and give it a like, thumbs up, that sort of stuff. It goes a long way with letting me know kind of what videos get seen and what kind of content actually makes it through the YouTube algorithm. So go ahead and hit that like button. I'm not sure how much glue this is gonna take, so I'm kind of just going for the smallest amount, just in case I need to take it back apart, or if I screw something up, it's less glue to have to fight. because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm straight up making this up as I go. If there's a master craftsman watching this that wants to give me some pointers, go ahead. I'm all ears. Now that we got glue in all these holes, we're gonna push our dowels back in there. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a little glue in the holes on the actual rungs. So that way I got glue in both spots. And then I think we'll go ahead and tap everything into place and throw some big bar clamps on there. I don't know, guys, this is proving to be not as easy as I made it up in my head to be. I swear, if I could get my hands on the person who invented HGTV and the DIY network and all those, you know, home improvement shows, because they get you full of false confidence, and you see all these people doing these projects and you're like, I could give that a shot. What's the worst that could happen? This is the worst that could happen, people. This is it right here. You have no idea what you're doing, and next thing you know, you're trying to figure out how to join a blanket ladder together. But all things considered, I think it's going okay. Get my big bar clamp into place here in such a way that hopefully doesn't make any bad squeeze marks. I wish I had enough clamps I could put one on every rung, but unfortunately I do not. So I'm just gonna have to make do here. GoPro, stop. So I got to thinking about how I could, put even pressure all the way around these rungs. And I was wishing I had more band clamps. And it's like, well, I don't have any more bar clamps, but I got a whole bunch of brand new ratchet straps. I figured, well, what the heck, I'll just put those around every rung. So here we are, putting ratchet straps around them. By golly, I think that's working pretty good. Because it's actually going to allow me to loosen up some of these clamps. Just put one more on and we'll call that good, I think. We'll go ahead and move this one closer to the rung here. I'll be careful that I don't get into the ratchet mechanism. There. There we go. We got our blanket ladder all clamped together. Gonna get it drying. Let that sit overnight. And we'll come check it out tomorrow and see how it looks. We'll get the straps off and be able to maybe even sand it and stain it. We'll see how excited we get. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.